Going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How is everybody doing out there on this Wednesday, August 16th of 2023? David, do I want to be nice to you today?
No,
No?
you really shouldn't be. It's not a good idea.
Why not?
It breaks the dynamic, really. If you're too nice to me, then my head might get too big, and then I'd become way too ineffective at anything I do. So
Maybe I need to do that, because then maybe you'll do another episode of the David Cuesta Show where you actually interview other people and not be
but I said ineffective. I said I wouldn't do anything because then I'd be too big for my britches.
But what's the difference? You're ineffective now as it stands.
That's fair.
So it's a lose-lose situation here. But before we get into all the fun stuff, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth, because that is the only way to make podcasts bigger, is to tell everybody, hey, I found this show. This one guy's kind of an asshole, but he interviews really cool people. How about we go listen to him? Yes, go do that. Then you can go find us on the socials. Just go search The Alex Cuesta Show. So, speaking of guests, we had a good one last week, Dave. We had a fun show. We had Nicholas Lemieux on. He is a CEO and founder of Athlete Studio. And I think we learned a lot last week about a bunch of different fun stuff with marketing. And he was just a really cool guest talking about the UFC fights and stuff. So I definitely recommend everyone go back last week, give it a listen, and go support Athlete Studio. Some of the best athletes on the planet in football, basketball are already on there. In UFC, John Bones Jones, you see his apparel, that's going through Athlete Studio. So definitely go support what Nicholas is doing over there, because it was great. And in terms of guests, you're listening to him right now, guys. We have no guest. It's David and I. David, are you amped up and ready to have a fantastic fucking show?
Not at all. In fact, I'm doing research as we speak.
Don't correct me this episode. Just let me be wrong, so then I can be charged with conspiracy to do a shitty podcast.
There are times where I just let you be wrong and I just don't care.
No, I just think you're just like, you don't know where to research on that times. Like, I'll probably say something so outlandish. You're just like, I have no idea where to even correct.
Yeah, what do I do?
Like, what do I do? Like, yeah, sometimes you fail at your job. I don't know why I just don't pay you, because I don't. We make nothing. Anyway, we're going to start off the show. We're going to start off a little bit serious. The tragedy going on in Maui over there in Hawaii. It's really messed up. The pictures look terrible. That fire that ravaged that island. I mean, the stories coming out about the fact that city officials, as it's raging, is just telling people, just like, you get in the water. Like, there's actually nothing we could do. We can't help you. You just have to get in the water. And Dave, having 2 little girls of my own, I can't imagine being a family and being told, like, and, especially if this was like during a work day or something, if I'm at work and, just my wife is here, or just my mother-in-law, who sometimes watches my kids, is here, and now they're told that they have to take a 5 and a 3-year-old and just go wade in water. Like, how fucking scary would that be, Dave? I don't understand.
It would be terrifying. And I mean, it's, I think as of now, it's still not even fully contained. I think this article's from today, and they're bringing up percentages of fire containment from yesterday, as of yesterday morning, but it's probably still not fully contained even yet.
The good news, though, Dave, is our fearless leader in our great regime with Joseph Robinette Biden gave them a whole $1.8 million towards relief. A whole 1.8, not a B, guys, with an M, million. But then I think he just sent 28 billion over to Ukraine for the war effort, which, putting the priorities in the right place there. Like, this kind of, Joe Biden sucks. He's a disaster. He's intentionally shitty because the leftists and progressives want to destroy us. They want to divide us. That's what they're trying to do. But something like this, it's like, you sometimes, I feel like, have to play pretend that you actually fucking care. And I think there's a lot too often that, like, we're in mainland America here. You're in, West Virginia. I'm in New York. Something goes wrong in mainland America, we really notice, right? We think of Hawaii as like a resort, as like a place to go, like Cancun or something like that. Hawaii is a part of the United fucking States. Those are our fellow citizens out there. It's not like they're just a bunch of randos. Like, they are fellow citizens. And Joe Biden is treating them like it's like a international world relief effort. Like it's not like it is awful the fact that like, and where's everyone? And this is my big issue. Like I haven't even heard a lot of this raised on like the quote unquote right. Where is everyone burying? I know the Trump shit's going on, but for a second, fuck Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis and everything going on in the primaries that aren't even fully going yet. American citizens have lost their whole entire houses. They are burnt to the ground. The fires aren't contained. They live on an island, so they can't go anywhere else. Like, Dave, this is one of the like most fucked up situations I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, no, it's a really messed up situation. To be fair, I have seen a decent amount of it on Twitter, at least from the people
Real
I
life
tend to follow.
Twitter.
Yeah, but from people I tend to follow, and it has been covered in the news, obviously. But I it just doesn't feel like it's getting as much press, and it could be just us. It could just be what we're seeing, but it just doesn't feel like it's getting as much press as some other things. But I do want to go over real quick some of the things that we know and that are somewhat speculation of the fire itself. So there's confirmed, at least from what it's saying, confirmed at least 110 people dead from these fires. And right now there's basically, I'm going to say it's speculation, but there seems to be something at least behind it that seemed to be power lines that could have caused this fire. So there was multiple faults for the utility grid during this high winds. And I mean, there's video of it. I don't know if the video is from that time, so I could be wrong. But these power lines, they could have fell, something could have happened, and they released energy, caused a fire, and it could have caused something this bad. So that's not certain. We don't know about that. They are the Hawaiian Electric is facing a lawsuit about it, though if it's not officially the cause yet, I don't know how that would go through in any way. But yeah, so far, I mean, at least politically, when it comes from the administration, I would say that 100% we could say there doesn't seem to be much effort at all into these wildfires, at least as much effort as you would expect, because this is one of the biggest fires we've had in a long time. Like this is out of left field for the most part. And you would think that as president, you would at least show face. Or someone would show face in Hawaii. Someone would go down there and like kind of immediate. It's so to at least be a part of it. Because like you said, these are our countrymen. This isn't some random nation that we kind of are helpful with from time to time. No, this is one of our 50 states. So you would think someone would go over and at least show up. You're most likely going to say something dumb. At least be there. That would look better than anything else.
And, to go back a little bit to the Republican campaign, Ron DeSantis campaign, guys, you really want, like, I get it. You shouldn't do things for political points, but it is season, right? But this isn't only for political points. This is to look like a president. If you really want to look like a president, if you're Vivek Ramaswamy, if you're Ron DeSantis, Trump is bogged down, but how badass would it be if Trump was like, fuck these indictments for a little, Georgia, I'll be back. I'm going to go real quick because these are my people. I was the 45th president. Like, if anything, if the left isn't going to show their face because Biden might die if he takes that plane trip, so whatever. Kamala probably would go the wrong way and go to China instead because she probably thinks they're China because she's an idiot. But it's like, this seems to be getting similar coverage to the train derailment when they made like a chemical warfare out of it, but that one the right was making a huge deal out of, right? That was days and days, weeks and weeks. Just for me, it seems a little bit like Hunter Biden, Trump indictments, all these little infighting things. Vivek Ramaswamy rapping "Lose Yourself" in fucking Iowa. Like that seems to be taking a bigger news chunk than this. Now, I do know if you do want to donate, go to mercury1.com. That's Glenn Beck's company. They've been taking donations. Now, I know today, I don't know the verdict yet. They did get hacked as Glenn was trying to promote it, I believe they got that fixed. So go check out mercury1.com. And, they are fantastic for giving relief on the ground. And the more we can keep the federal government out of things like relief, the better and quicker it'll probably go. But another thing we need to think of, Dave, is that island, if you looked at it, it looked like it was absolutely leveled, right? That looked really bad. And I know the mayor of Maui, I believe, was like, we don't know if people are going to get their houses back. Like, this is bad. Yeah. And I heard some criticism like, oh, we can rebuild this and that. Dude, people don't realize about Hawaii. Outside of the tourism, they have a massive drug problem and they're really poor. Like, Hawaii is not a rich country. Hawaii is a very much a state. Sorry.
Same country for
state. Well, I mean, United States isn't a rich country right now at this point with the shit we're doing. But yeah, no, Hawaii is not a rich state. So they struggle in a lot of ways. And it's so please give if you can. Go give, because the federal government doesn't seem to. And I think right now we're up to like 200 something billion in Ukraine. And he scrounged up 1.8 million to give a immediate $700 relief to everyone affected, Dave. $700 whole dollars out of, can you? I think we could scrounge together, me and you, between us. We can go send $1,400 easier, and it wouldn't. Probably. Like, it's so disingenuous. But and Dave, what do you make of him saying no comment when first asked about it?
I mean, it's so. I was young, living through any of Bush, so I don't necessarily remember a lot of Bush. But even from my very little recollection, I can remember him getting hammered over something like Katrina, and I don't remember him saying anything like that. Now, I'm not going to say whether or not he deserved to get hammered over Katrina. I don't know that much. Like I said, I was young. But I remember this being basically a revolving door of saying Bush said something stupid or did something wrong with Katrina again and again and again. And, this is not, I don't think it's the same as Katrina, even though I don't remember the stats. Like I said, I was young. I didn't look this up in the first place. This is still a huge event, a huge disastrous event that is still happening in Hawaii. And for a president and an administration, because these obviously people are pushing him around, trying to get him to say the right things. For him to have the ability to even say no comment is otherworldly embarrassing. And if it were, I would say anyone, but if it was anyone on the right, they would be absolutely lambasted, and for a good reason if they said no comment. It would be a good reason for them to get torched in the media if they said no comment. But it's not going to happen now because, well, we all know why.
Yeah, but he was on vacation, Dave. And they disturbed Biden's vacation. How can you disturb his vacation with a question about his people on fire? Quite literally, the people he represents. But the worst part is, Dave, Hawaii is such a blue stronghold. They are going to, in droves, revote for Joe Biden. In droves, revote for that idiot Macy Hirono to go back in. And that's her district. She's like one of the biggest morons in Congress. And it's just sad. It is sad to see. I hope that those people, can get their lives together. I hope that if you're listening, you can donate. You donate what you can. And I mean, that's all we can really say there. It's such a tragedy, and it's terrible that the regime just seems to they don't care. They obviously do not care because it's not politically expedient to help Hawaii because they already know Hawaii is going to vote for them. Like, let's put it down there. It's not politically expedient for them to look good helping Hawaii.
Yeah, and the thing about the voting is, Hawaii is deep blue and everything, but the issue is that even just voting someone in, you would still expect them to give you just a modicum of compassion in that sense. You would still, if we're thinking how most normal people think of, maybe 20 years ago kind of political, you would think a modicum of show face, show somewhat compassion, even just for the political points. You would expect that. Even if you are that stronghold.
Yeah and no, because blue cities continue to vote Democrat and they just get lied to. And it's not even that they show a monogram, it's the same shit. And they continue to vote Democrat and crimes keep on getting worse. And, businesses have to shut down. And these businesses are the same ones that are shutting down in blue strongholds that will still uphold ESG woke bullshit. So, I don't like, some people are just morons, Dave, and groups of people are just fucking stupid. And that's just what we have to accept, that there's some people that are just dumb and that there's groups of people that are just sheep and will vote like morons because their parents always have, or they were told to, or it's just so. And I don't mean to disparage people, but man, if this doesn't wake you up, if a nationally like big event destroying a part of your state, like absolutely leveling a part of your state, and then no comment, and then a tweet about the fucking situation, not even someone visiting, like you said, like anyone from the administration. I don't care if they send a fucking staffer, like send somebody to represent. Like you said, it's now been what, 3-4 days since this happened? Mm-hmm. And nobody's been there. And George Bush did get criticism, Dave. They said he apparently did a flyover in New Orleans. He landed, but they only took video of him doing a flyover, and like the media does, spun it that all he did was fly over. And that's where you get the famous Kanye clip with George Bush hates George Bush. And Mike Myers
doesn't care.
Doesn't George care about black people.
Doesn't care, which is one of the best clips ever. It's hilarious.
Mike Myers' face is incredible because he has no idea what the fuck to do. And just the way Kanye delivers it, stone face, that's when we should have known that this dude was legit. Like, we should have known that Kanye is a future president. So, Dave, is he going to sleep in? So here's the thing. Kanye, I'm going to say to you, Ye, where are you at, Ye? Ye should go there.
He's doing something I don't know.
And he should drop his new album to every single person that got affected and give them all Ye 2024 stuff. And that's how he will heal them. I mean,
I don't know about that one.
But even that, anyone that wants to be president, like, go make an appearance. Like, this is probably the most slam dunk fucking thing any of you could do. Just go. It's a state. It's a state. Go to a state. I don't understand it. It just drives me nuts. But yeah, so go to mercury1.com. I don't have a relief fund, so I'm not going to plug mine. I'll plug Glenn Beck's in the Blaze because Mercury One has done great things. They got a ton of people out in Afghanistan when Joe Biden was destroying that. So I trust them to do a good job with humanitarian stuff. So let's move on to something else that is basically on fucking fire and burning down and in shambles. And that is the entertainment sector, I guess you want to call it. And, when you think about that, you kind of think of like movies and TV only, maybe music thrown in there. But interestingly enough, theater's been lumped in. And Dave, you brought up a Twitter thread by one Clifton Duncan, who is
shout out Clifton Duncan.
Shout out Clifton Duncan. Yeah, fantastic follow, very based. Definitely someone you should go look at. But a Twitter thread. So you want to talk a little about just kind of give a synopsis or read some excerpts there if you want.
So before I even get into the thread, Clifton Duncan is someone who has worked in Broadway. He has done musical theater, like prominent musical theater. He's not just someone who's been around. No, he's actually someone who got genuinely really good parts. And Clifton Duncan is someone who was then basically, I want to say, blackballed out of Broadway and a lot of musical theater because of his stance during the COVID years and his stance of what the theater was doing and a lot of other places were doing during the COVID years. So he put out a thread, I think it says 13 hours ago, so very recently, about the fact that it's not just Hollywood that we see with the WGA strikes and the writer strikes going on that's dying. The major theaters all across the U.S. are also dying. I'm just going to read off some of his points real quick. He said nearly a third of their patrons are gone. Theaters are pausing seasons, laying off staff, or closing outright. Industry leaders reportedly have a running list of closures, which is updated routinely. And then some experts warn the industry may shrink by half over the next year.
Why?
And this collapse has been reported all over the place. He says Guardian, LA Times, Washington Post, New York Times. So this is something that is 100% happening. And he he makes it very blunt because he says, he says he no longer has a career, so he's going to point out the obvious. So, all caps, he said they went super woke and then fucked themselves with ridiculous pandemic protocols, which, funny enough, I do feel like both of those in combination are what killed it. Because going super woke, we see that it's hurt people, obviously. It's hurt Disney. It's hurt big companies. But you can still survive and sustain a little bit because people still go see it if they think it's good enough.
Yep.
But then they fuck themselves complete with the pandemic protocols, because I don't know about now, but I know at least during the time and even way longer after, you had to wear a mask to go see anything in Broadway, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So you're already cutting down on people who don't feel like sitting down wearing a mask the whole time they're watching a Broadway show. So with both of those things combined, and just the theater seeming to want to push anyone away that doesn't completely oblige with what they think and their ideology, and now we're seeing it die, which is really sad, because Broadway, one of the biggest things in America, no matter, you might not think about it very much, but people love going to New York City, going to Broadway, and going and seeing shows. Exactly. And even then, there's plenty of places to go see plays and musicals all across the United States that, I mean, I would say go try one out, but it might be closed now.
Probably, yep.
Yeah, so I'm not going to read the whole Clifton Duncan thread, but I mean, he even goes over the fact that every other there's other forms of entertainment are doing fantastic now. They don't have to say anything about COVID, that their numbers are bad. Like sports are doing fantastic. Live music is doing great. Look at Taylor Swift. It's literally causing earthquakes. And like even the WWE is getting record ticket sales, which, I mean, I would think a lot of people might have a little bit of a take saying that WWE is doing better than Broadway, but it's a huge issue, and it's a destruction of something culturally relevant that should always be culturally relevant to America, that is wild to even know is happening, but it's happening under a lot of people's noses. Because I can imagine that, you know, if we haven't even talked about this now, you might have wanted to go out and see something, and the place that's nearer to you might be closed down, even if it's a small area that just puts on plays.
Yeah, and it is really sad. And I notice, you know, I like going to plays. Like when I can, me and my wife will go and we'll see a play because we both like them. I've been to a good amount in my life so far. And one of the things that I noticed, Dave, is one of the things that I think started the decline, and it's well before wokeness. When you think of going to a play on Broadway, Dave, if you were going to go to one, how would you dress? You'd probably throw on a button up, maybe some slacks, like try and look presentable, right?
Yes.
When I tell you, Dave, people were going in like jorts and t-shirts and just like going to a movie theater. And so to me, the moment that the standards stopped being held high, Broadway was supposed to be something that was supposed to be, you're living in a high-class society, and you don't have to be high class to live and look high class, right? It was one of those things where we all got to pretend to be like the rich and fancy and the caviar.
Well, and it's asking for effort, though. It's a little bit of effort.
Yes. And so the standards dropped. And this is years ago now. Years ago, there used to be a standard. Like you had to look a certain way to enter the theater. That's not the case anymore. So that's one thing. And then the wokeness, this started, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, they got rid of blind auditions. And I think that really made a big dent. They got rid of blind auditions because they said blind auditions were racist. I think that's what it was. Blind auditions were racist. Maybe they brought them back because they saw really bad returns because they weren't getting good people. They were just picking them based off of how they looked instead of talent-wise. But I don't know if it was Broadway in general. I know major schools started to do that. I think Oxford or Juilliard started to do that. Yeah, but I also think a few Broadway people started to also at least advocate against blind auditions. So
I don't remember if it actually happened. I do remember because I remember the article that you're referencing. I know you're referencing an article in New York Times. I just found it in fact. But I don't know if it actually happened.
Okay.
Some places might have. Some places might have, especially because, you know, that article hit New York Times. People probably jumped on
And
it.
I could imagine it's production company to production company, right? So not all production companies, like not all theaters are only run by one production company. A production company comes in, they have their stretch run, they have their bill, and once that bill's done, the next play that's supposed to go in does it. So who knows? And they change their policies all the time. But the fact that that was a sentiment was a red flag right there, right? That was still more to at the who was it? I think it was when Kendrick was putting his song "Stay Woke." Like as that was still people
That
really
was not Kendrick.
Who was that?
That was Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino.
Redbone by Childish Gambino.
I do confuse them. They're both awesome. Sorry, but there was that, and that was still more of the sense where we really didn't understand what woke meant. We thought, probably think it was more like a cultural thing, right? We didn't understand what the implications of wokeism was. And that was at the beginning of it. And that stuff started. And now we start to see it going more and more and snowballing. And it's not as prominent because Broadway isn't as prominent, like you said, in a lot of people's lives, which is sad, Dave, because I think it should be one of the biggest American pride and joys, right? We stole the play, the theater play from Europe, from France, from England, from Italy, from places that were doing it for thousands of years, centuries, doing it really well too. And we did it, and they all come to us now to go to Broadway in New York City to be somebody. Like, that has to be a sense of pride, right? That should be a prideful thing, and we're losing that. And Clifton Duncan's right. It has to do with wokeness, and it also had to do with the COVID policies. But the COVID policies are also lumped into that because, right, if you weren't woke, if you weren't agreeing with everything that was being portrayed by the regime and by Dr. Fauci as what was correct at the time. So, I mean, it couldn't have happened to a better group of people, I guess, is a good way to say it, but it is sad. Yeah, right. And I've seen it here because over here in New York, we had the Westchester Dinner Theater where you can go get a pretty good meal. It was a small stage, but they put on major level plays out of Broadway. And the people that went there were Broadway actors. They had been on Broadway before. They had some major roles. Last thing I saw there, Dave, I saw Phantom of the Opera there. It was fantastic at Westchester Dinner Theater. Had a good meal, had a really good play. Phantom is a classic play for a reason. It's one of the best of all time. But, I mean, do you trust the new Broadway plays right now, though, Dave? If you were to sit there and you were to hear a critically acclaimed Broadway play coming on, I mean, how much do you actually I find myself not trusting things until proven otherwise now. Like, I used to be like, that looks awesome, I want to go see it. Now, I'm kind of like, it looks awesome, but what am I going to get when I get there? And that kind of sucks. I used to enjoy when things look awesome and I wanted to go be I'd rather be disappointed and get, you know what I mean? Like, I was willing to go be disappointed. Now I don't even want to go do that.
Yeah, well, I think it's partly because, I mean, you go into Hollywood and stuff and you don't really expect them to put out much. So it's like, they're not necessarily in the same vein, but it's still entertainment.
It's showbiz.
It's showbiz. So it's just like, do I really think that they're going to get this right in what my taste is? Yeah. And also, it's price point and what you're able to afford. Because look, if you could afford these just fine and be like, yeah, we can go out and see something, it's not an issue. Like we don't have to worry about much else money wise, then you still have more of an ability to say, yeah, I'll go be disappointed. I think it looks cool. Like, there's a possibility that it goes wrong, but who cares? Like, I can afford it. But if you can't, matched with, am I even certain this is going to be good? Why would you go see it?
I'm not going to go spend $20 on a ticket and then another 30 at a concession stand. 20 per ticket plus another whatever at the concession stand. I'm not going to go spend $200-$300 to go see a movie. Like, it's not. And Oppenheimer was supposed to be a slam dunk. Dave, I was still nervous because you know what? There's still leftist fucking idiot actors in it, and I don't know what they're going to put in it. That's the thing. Like, I never minded when I've talked about this before. I never cared when there were subtle, stupid messages. That wasn't a big deal. I realized that they were a bunch of hippie leftists. They were stupid. They were going to say some dumb things, maybe throw in a dumb one-liner or some imagery there, whatever. As long as everything else was fine, right? Now it becomes a focus and they harp on it. Like Barbie having a message. Anytime anybody tells me, but yeah, the Barbie movie had a great message, I respond, why the fuck does a Barbie movie need a message? It's a Barbie movie. Barbie is the message. Barbie could be anything. Barbie is quite literally every job. She is the message. Barbie can be any job. A girl can do whatever she fucking wants. That is Barbie's messaging. You don't need to overtly say it. But there we are. We're getting patriarchy diatribes on Barbie. And it's like, it's just so tired. And I just want to mention the strike, Dave, because I've, in my job, I've talked about that I teach people how to drive. And some people tell me like they're aspiring writers. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like screenwriters. And they're like, yeah, but the strike. And I said, who cares about the strike? This is the time to do it. Screw these people. Like, and I say to them flat out, for at least a decade, most of these writers have been writing jack shit. They don't deserve more money, if we're being quite honest. There are very few writers in Hollywood or on TV that actually deserve money. They've been writing garbage. So it's like, and I'm not going to cry pauper for writers who are probably all millionaires anyway, and then have people like Bryan Cranston and fucking Mark Ruffalo preach to me. You can both go suck a fat one. Both of them. Sitting there talking about how we're not going to be replaced by AI and we need to get fair pay. It's like, oh, seriously? You idiots? You guys are the communists. This is what happens to communists. It's so frustrating, Dave. It's frustrating. I hate it. I hate it, David.
Well, yeah. But the thing is like, no, there are plenty of writers who are not going to be millionaires. But the thing is, is that there's many issues with the strike in and of itself, both in the fact that you haven't been putting out anything good and that you're kind of hurting yourself by going on strike. But, it's not, they have some reasons to be actually angry at the producers and these big companies. No doubt. They have some points. Some are ridiculous, but they have some points there. Like, they should know the streaming numbers of the shows that get put out.
Yes.
They should know why they're going to make what they're going to make, what is going on. They don't. When you don't have any of that idea, it's a bit of nonsense that the producers are doing, but they obviously don't put out these numbers because they must not be doing that well. So
but at the same time with that, Dave, as a writer, what you're signing up for. So I get it. You're striking now because maybe it's been too long and everyone's complained too much and nothing's been done. But at the same time, if you're a young writer getting into this screenwriter, you know what the world you're walking into. Like, it's not a secret. Like, you can go figure out any of these companies that you want to, how that business works. You knew what you were walking into. Streaming's been going on for a while now. So it's like, I get it. But it's like, I don't feel bad. I don't.
No, I'm not saying I feel bad because I don't feel bad. In fact, it's fine because I don't like either party in this case here. I don't like anyone here. So I'm perfectly fine with how this is going.
You like the epic verse. Let's go, epic verse.
Exactly. But that's the thing, though, is yes, 100%. Like, they do basically know what they're signing up for. But as a company that produces media and you're getting people to come and write and do these things for you, I feel like you, in benefit of yourself, you should be able to share information of how their show is doing. You don't need to share about how other shows are. But
at least their own show they're writing for.
They should know more or less whether or not they're actually connecting with any of the things that they're writing, whether or not any of that's actually fucking working. Mm-hmm. And if it's not, then maybe they would be able to have some self-reflection on why their writing sucks. But they don't. But none of that's happening.
So, Dave, here's a question for you. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just going to say, I get what you're saying, that they do know what they're signing up for, but it's just like, as the companies themselves, you have some shit that you should be doing that you're not fucking doing. Like, these are things that are very plainly obvious, things that you should be putting out. We know why you're not putting them out, but they should be at least being known by those that are working on the show.
So as a writer, are you happy that SAG-AFTRA or whatever they are is supporting you and that there's no work being done right now? Or are you kind of looking at this going, so I look at it in two ways. If they're happy, then that just means they're super insecure, right? That they're not confident enough that some scabs can't do better than them. So they want these actors to be with them. But if I'm a writer and I think I'm a good writer and I'm a part of this union, I'm telling all the actors, no, don't join us. Go do work. Go let some other people write for you, because I know my value and I know I'm a good writer and I know you're going to suck. Like, you're not going to have good writing because we're the best. So do you think it's kind of hurting the writers that the actors aren't doing anything, that everything's going to be on hold soon? And because I mean, like, what's the best way to show your value is when you're not there. In the NFL, when the refs weren't there, obviously the officiating was awful. So we all wanted the refs back, right? Like, we did not like replacement refs. The refs made their value obvious. Mm-hmm. Right here, do you think that's something similar where the writers should have kind of been like the SAG-AFTRA, like, no, go do your thing. Like, we're not going to write for you guys, but go try and survive without us. Like, you guys are going to suck. Like, I don't think it's helping them that the actors are with them and that nothing else new is going to be made.
So I will say this, the writers do have a unique point, not point that they're making, but a unique point in their strike that they're able to, a lot of writers really are able to go off and write for anything else. They just have to use a fucking alias. So they can still do work technically. They just have to be kind of secretive about it. Actors can't fucking do that. They just can't do that. Sure. They know your face, that obviously they're supposed to. So they can't really just go off and do other work. But I mean, it just hurts them in general being on strike, really, because one of their main points is about AI, which has been used for a bit now, but it's an okay point of saying, look, I don't want to just be used for one thing and then get thrown away while the AI basically does all the work. But you didn't necessarily do much to try to stop it while you were in there.
And the irony of transhumanists not wanting AI is hilarious.
Well, yeah, but they already have all of your damn writing. They can just use a good amount of the AI now, get people who don't care about being a scab, get people who aren't in WGA. And what use are you? Like, you're no use. Unless you were producing hit after hit after hit, why would they care? They already have AI that works pretty damn well. We have AI that works pretty damn well. You can just go use it on the internet right now.
Yes, you can.
So the whole point becomes moot when you decide to take yourself out of workplace so the AI can take over for you. It's people who are very strike happy because they feel, I want to say, and I can be lambasted for this, but these are people who actually don't know how to make a difference other than making it seem like it's in a fucking movie where it's like, let's go on strike. No, like, you don't need to do that. That's not proving the point you think it's proving. It's not doing as much as you think it's doing. They've already, the people on the company side already said they're going to wait until you can't fucking afford anything to eat and you'll come crawling back, which is very easy for them. They're already losing money. Why would they care?
Yep.
So it's a brain dead thing to do. You could have done a lot more from the inside, but this is what happens when you have crazy ass unions that have total control over your job. Because when they want to strike, they're going to force you to strike. So it's a dumb thing to witness on both sides, but I really don't care. It's honestly just funny because for the most part, they've been making bad content. Even though I've heard some good things, like the new Twitch Mail show is apparently good, which I'm very surprised about. But most part, they've been making not very good content to actually bad content. So why would I care? What's the point of me caring?
And the thing about a strike, Dave, is your strike has to have real teeth, right? Like, I get, like, some of your gripes that you're saying are legitimate gripes, but they're not big enough gripes to hold a studio hostage. Like, that your strike has to have teeth enough that you're a real threat, that what you're saying is a real threat to a bottom line. Like, I was in a construction union. If one of our, more important, especially the more important ones, wanted to strike, like, I was an insulator. Nobody gave a fuck about the insulators. But if the steel workers said they were going to strike and they weren't done putting things up, like framing out big things, we didn't cross that picket line because that job can't go without that. Sheet metal workers, like some of your more important ones, your carpenters, like if they strike, you don't cross that picket line because the work you can only get so far without that group, right? So nobody gives a fuck about insulators. So if we wanted to strike, we would have to get the other major ones involved to support us. The writers are kind of like the insulators. They're not actors. They're not producers. They're not that important. This will be like them, like the stunt doubles wanting to strike. Nobody gives a fuck about the stunt doubles. Like they're just the uglier versions of the actual actors and actresses. Like nobody actually cares. And that's what I think the writers are finding out. Nobody actually cares. And the issue for them is going to be when we get to the point, because right now there's still enough content coming out that they've already had completed that they're running. If and when we get to the point that they're sitting there saying, guys, we have nothing new. We got to do reruns. We can't do new movies. The theaters are going to be mad at the writers. They're not going to be mad at the actors. They're not going to be mad at the studio. They're not going to be mad at the producers. They're going to be mad at the people that started the strike. So I thought this was a half-baked strike. You needed to have more teeth. You needed to get a major group involved. And the writers probably want to think they're major, right? We're the writers. You're not. Nobody knows who writers are. Can you name a famous TV or movie writer off the top of your head right now?
Not right now. Not that I could think of.
And that's how they're not famous. That's how they're not.
I mainly want to bring up the number one good thing and why this strike should continue. No late night shows.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't notice they were gone until I listened to a segment about how they were gone. I was like, holy shit, you're right. I haven't seen a single video from them.
And we'll bring it back to that. Would Johnny Carson not be on the air every night still? Or at least do 2 to 3 nights? I feel like Johnny Carson would be like, fuck this, I'm going to write my own stuff. I feel like David Letterman, Jay Leno, would probably sit there and be like, hey guys, maybe we can't do 5 nights a week anymore, but I at least want to do 1 or 2 nights a week. I still want to keep, because guys like that realize their faces are relevant, right? Out of sight, out of mind. We can't make fun of Colbert or any of these dumbasses. Like the only guys I miss is Conan, because Conan was actually funny. But outside of that, like, you got to keep your face in the public to be relevant. We can't miss them because nobody cares. Like late night, I forgot. Till you mentioned it, I forgot that was gone.
Yep, so it's incredible.
It's one of those things that goes to show. Hey, but no, late night is not gone. Go watch Normal World. Go subscribe to Blaze TV or watch it on YouTube. Normal World with Dave Landau and Quarter Black Garrett. That is late night at its finest. There, everybody, go there. You'll get funny ass skit. You'll get some good conversation. Always a cool guest. Some music. Normal World, Dave Landau, Quarter Black Garrett, The Blaze. You can go find it on YouTube. We're just throwing out promos for everyone tonight, but you know, I'm a person, I have no problem promoting people that don't fucking suck. Anyway, I want to jump to our last topic here. I don't know how long it's going to be because it's kind of, I kind of feel bad. I do feel bad for this individual, Tiffany Gomez, better known as That Motherfucker Isn't Real. The chick that stood on the plane, that crazy plane lady that Alpha Fox on Twitter has been trying to wife, even though he's, you know, someone tried to like get him on the meme and he's just like, dude, I'm married. It's funny. Just shut up.
Yeah.
But she's the one, if anyone doesn't remember, she was the one that was like, that guy, he is not real. The guy in a red hoodie.
You guys can stay on here and that motherfucker is not real. Yep. Pointing at the back of the plane.
And then she was doing like the Satanistic 2 fingers that only a Satanist will do. No one else used the 2 fingers. I loved all the conspiracy theories and stuff surrounding her. And there were plenty of fantastic memes. But like everything, the internet giveth, the internet taketh away. People went way too far on her. Did she hurt anybody? No, she delayed a plane, which is annoying. Don't get me wrong. I feel like if you travel planes frequently, you probably feel people that delay planes do deserve death. I honestly, I don't travel it enough, but I feel like you might have a point because you're trying to get somewhere. Apparently Carrot Top was on that flight, which is even better. But he's that relevant that nobody gave a shit that he was on the plane. He was probably flying coach anyway. But so she, for being an idiot, for probably being really fucking high on the plane, she got doxxed. There were people between the media, between internet sleuths. They put up this woman's house address. I think they put up her Google Maps. They took a picture of it. They found out where she lived, how much she makes. And people then started to make a big deal. She lives in a $2 million home and she's a marketing executive and everything. And it's like, guys, leave her the fuck alone. Like,
yeah.
And then forced enough to now, was it 2-3 weeks later? She comes out with an apology about how, like, you know, and it's like, dudes, why are we not forcing people on video shoplifting to come out and fucking apologize? Why are we not doxing those people? Like, why are we not sitting there, internet sleuths? Why are we not identifying every single one of those people and now shaming them because they're actually doing crimes? I think Tiffany Gomez was detained for like a moment for like, because I think she was saying like the plane's going to go down or something after that. So I think they detained her and let her go. They just realized that she was fucking coming down from a high. Like, honestly, that is all I could think of here. She was probably popped way too many Xannies because she doesn't like flying that much. And she got loopy. That is the best thing that I could think of explanation wise. But Dave, what do you think about this? The poor woman had to apologize. Like, it is the dumbest thing.
I will say, I do think, because I've heard, because the question is, why the fuck would she, like, what's the point of her apologizing? Like, there is no point really for her apologizing. But I did hear a good reasoning someone put out that could be the reason is that she has this big job, this marketing job, and there's a possibility that at the company they're like, yeah, this doesn't, like, you put out something. This doesn't look great for us that you're the crazy plane lady, which actually is a decent reason as to why she would come out and apologize.
Yes and no.
Well, no, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that the company should force her. I'm not saying that that should happen, but I'm saying I could see that happening. That's what I'm saying.
Some of the PR eggheads going, yeah, we're already behind this. You got to go do something.
Yes.
To embarrass this woman some more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no reason for her to apologize. Honestly, it brought more joy to people than it brought any harm to anyone.
The memes were amazing.
Exactly. So it's just absolutely ridiculous that she came out and apologized. Though I will say it is pretty funny that there's now even more conspiracy theories saying that her in the apology video is not actually real. She's not the same one from the plane video. So, I mean, honestly, you keep this going. If she comes out with another one, just triple down. Just say, fuck it. That's another one that's not real.
See what she should do if she wanted to lean into the meme. She should go and get like one of those Scooby-Doo masks of like her face and like wear it at the beginning of the video and like peel it off and it'll be her like actually like with her hair pulled back exactly how she looked. Like she should wear the same exact outfit and like peel her face back and be like, that really wasn't me in there. It's me. And just like throw the fingers up. Like
that's the thing though, is that she's not going to lean into. She's not an internet personality. She's not going to lean into it.
She is now.
No, she's not a personality. She's an internet fucking folklore, basically. So, but so she was never going to lean into this, and she never should have had any reason to really apologize for it. It's just unfortunate that it's come to this point, and it's ridiculous. But what's to be expected other than people to dox her and to fucking find her? Like, is it annoying? Yes. Am I surprised? No.
So we're going to bring this in here. Let's get conspiratorial. You ready for this? We've all seen Captain America Winter Soldier.
I actually haven't.
What? Actually, wasn't a bad one. It was a good one. Winter Soldier.
I heard it was good. I heard it's a good movie. I haven't seen it.
So in Winter Soldier, basically, it's pretty true to the comics. Yeah. He's being controlled by Red Skull and that whole faction and Hydra and everything. And when they say certain command words is when he goes into Winter Soldier mode. Like he's out of Winter Soldier and they say those words and he has to fight through it. Yeah. We know MK Ultra is real.
Yeah.
What if that motherfucker that's not real is actually her handler? And he said a word and he forgot it was the wrong word. And he sent MK Ultra chick in here. And it was something where it was like, when I say this, you can't see me. Like I don't exist. And
is it John Cena? Oh.
John Cena's actually the hooded man. I am starting that meme. Has nobody done that yet? Has nobody actually made John Cena sitting there in full attire on the plane as she's screaming?
Like, that'd be hilarious.
That would be amazing if he's just like sitting there in bright orange and she's like, that motherfucker's not real. And everyone's looking around
and everything.
And everyone's kind of looking and like, there's nobody sitting here. What is wrong with you? Like somebody really intelligent needs to make that video. Honestly, that would be a fucking hilarious video. But overall, like, yeah, no. What if that person that wasn't real was actually her MK Ultra handler? And he said a code word and sent her off, and it was meant to be done that way. And now she's uncoded, so she like actually doesn't know what happened. And that's why this apology just seems so weird and just like not actually like, you know.
I like to believe that the whoever she was referring to was actually not real, and that it was. You know, we've had all this stuff about aliens now. So it might have been actually an alien just fucking with her.
John Cena's an alien now?
Yeah, John Cena. Yeah, but it just turned to her, like, said something that's out of this, like, just did something just to fuck with her. Just giggling afterwards.
But also, the other story is apparently she was in a fight with somebody over AirPods. That's like the other story, that, like, she had to switch seats and the AirPods, like, the person wouldn't give them back. And then she flipped out. But that... I mean,
but what would be the point of saying like you can believe me or not? Like,
going down.
It's saying like that person's like a genuine threat to everyone on the plane. What I mean, yeah, she just could have been that fucking off her rocker at that point to say
she tried
that.
Getting back on the plane, she was high out of her fucking mind. Let's be honest here. And that honestly, being super high, AirPods being stolen, you not knowing where is right, left, up, and down, and then all of a sudden seeing someone that's not there, it actually sounds like a really fun high that ended terribly. So, Tiffany Gomez. Sorry this happened. Sorry you did this, and then the rest of this happened to you. You basically went fucking crazy, and people torched you for it, and you're doxxed. And I hope nothing bad happens to you or your family. Your job should be secure, and you should not have to apologize for giving us pure entertainment. Please go really high somewhere else again.
I think my favorite part of any reaction to that video is someone saying I can change her, and someone saying no, I want her to stay the same. Like I want her just the way she is.
Oh my god, yeah, the find hers were amazing. And it took a while for the internet sleuths to actually figure out who it was, which was surprising how long it took. So again, that goes to the conspiracy. Is it really Tiffany Gomez? Is she actually the person that doesn't exist? Other people were trying to point out that it was like a mask. They were like looking like they were like, it was such a ridiculous time. We needed that. Maybe it was Donald Trump. That motherfucker's not real.
Trump the whole time.
Oh my gosh. All right. That's the end of this episode, Dave. How do you feel about it? How did we do?
I feel okay. I feel all right.
Damn it. This is going to be our least successful episode yet if you feel good about it. Anyway, that was the Alex Cuesta Show. Really happy you stayed this long. If you did, we appreciate it. Thank you for listening.
Go donate to Hawaii. Go donate to Maui, Lahaina. Yeah, I think that's where the fires are located. Go Mercury 1.
Yep.
Go do it.
Go do it. They'll take care of everything. They're really good there. So if you could do that, that's great. Also, please like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5-star, Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth. Go look for us on the socials at the Alex Cuesta Show. And we will be back. I think we have a guest next week. So that's exciting. And that could be fun. And you don't have to hear us just yak anymore. But every once in a while, this is fun to do. So without any further ado, we'll see everybody next week. So long, y'all.